Just making a few notes because there's some very funny comments already coming in. Let me just make sure that I have that, and I'm missing one. Hang on. Right. Good evening, yeah, wrong'uns. Budge up into the pews, make space for everyone else. But I think Roy Gordon has your measure this evening. Basically, Roy's just said, ew, ram lot in here this evening. Evening, Roy. Can't disagree. A bunch of utter wrong'uns. And also, I do hope everyone has passed by the confessional before you've entered the Theatre of the Mind Kirk this evening for this evening's sermon. Otherwise, it could be just utter blasphemy. Or infamy, devout-guilted infamy. I will avail myself of your comments in but a moment, but please, your comments are welcome. The more the merrier, all the way through. Dear Lord, thank you. Word appropriate. Hang on. Oh, I say. That is rather. The All Bottle says, welcome to the All Hallows Church of St. Battenberg in the Wheels. Oh, I say. What-o? The sermons this evening preached by the very Reverend Alan of the Bishop of Bakewell. Or Bake Badly, to be fair. Andrew James says, I have reserved my seat in the front pew. I have left Bibles on the remaining pews. It's one Bible between two. Oh, I say. Are we sharing this evening? Today's hymns are the Thompson Twins, Hold Me Now, both hands, said the Reverend, and Chuck Berry, My Ding-a-ling, everybody's hands, says the Right Reverend Adrian Allen. And if anyone's new to the Kirk, the body of the Kirk this evening, then please let me know in the comments and I'll give you a cherry pop, baby. And the other thing is that, what was I going to say? I am genuinely a reverend. I am allowed, because me and Robbie Williams at the time, I think it was Universal Ministries. You were allowed to pay like 125 quid or something, and you could officiate at one wedding, one funeral, 3 weddings and a funeral, or whatever it was. So genuinely, I've got the certificate to say I'm the Reverend Adrian Allen, like Mrs. Hinney. So, thank you, Andrew, for making sure that everyone is comfortable and they have the appropriate hymn books. Yes. Should we have some Sex Pistols in the hymns this evening? Andrew also says, donations are also accepted. Depends what kind of deposits they're going to make, Andrew, to be fair. Notes and credit cards. All right, okay. Yes. Loose change can damage the collection plate unless it's a bucket and everybody's lobbing stuff into the bucket, as we have seen this week. Gold teeth can be extracted by some pliers. There are painkillers and red wine after the extraction. Oh, the altar wine. It works very well. Very well. So I said as I fell over the other evening. Roy Gordon says, I'm sitting at the back tonight. Oh, Roy, are you playing hard to get or shy? Hard day's graft. I may fall asleep, so don't want to be obvious. Sorry if I snore, Your Eminence. Not a problem, Roy. I think you've got the measure of the congregation this evening. So if anyone does hear any snoring, it's not me, so it must be Roy. So give him an elbow. I was going to say give him something hard, but that could have gone down a whole rabbit hole that we don't really want to explore. Andrew James says, has Mrs. Allen polished and waxed your organ for tonight's church service, AA? Well, she did actually have a go with a pair of pliers. That's another story. But she made sure that my little stoppers were polished quite vigorously before I came into the body of the Kirk this evening. I did manage to get my frock on over the top, so you can't tell whether I'm looking forward to tonight's sermon or not, so to speak. But Mrs. Allen has now gone to make sure that the altar wine is chilled. Thank you, Andrew. To Rexanne, I have turned on the big water heater for tea. Oh, thank you. The urn. We love a good urn. We like it bubbling away. Is the body of the Kirk aware of my little story about the laxative that I put on in the big urn? Roxanne, you're fine and dandy. I won't do that this evening. But in my pre-ministerial days, I was a bit of a wrong'un. In fact, I was an utter wrong'un. Yeah, wrong'un. So, by all accounts, Rexanne says coffee, biscuits, and Battenberg for after the service. Oh, you're far too kind, Rexanne. I think we may have you working in the body of the Kirk every single sermon. Thank you for that. And Nigel Greens said, evening, yeah, wrong'uns. Just a reminder from Rector Allen of Battenberg, roses and other flowers are welcome in the pews, but the rector does prefer tulips on his upright organ. I'll wait till the laughing stops at the back. You wrong'uns. That's brilliant, Nigel. Andrew James, Rexanne, broken biscuits only. Broken biscuits, broken brains. Nigel also says, remember to open wide before receiving the sacrament. It makes it easier for the rector to pop it in. Also, beware of the draft from the back passage of the Kirk. Yes, it does get a little chilly around the back doors. Andy Turner says, yo, yo, yo. Oh, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Battenberg. Andy. Stuart, evening, Adrian. You let me have a few liveners in the body of the Kirk on Sunday. Oh, hang on a second. I'm going to bring some more in. You know what they call reverends who allow alcohol in? Bloody legends. And you know what they say about those drinking the altar wine during the service? Stuart. Yeah, wrong'un. Andy Turner says, just been watching Clarkson's Farm. The council's a twat, all because he's famous. Tell it like it is, Andy. Andy Sinsky says, Clarkson's Farm is so funny. Seemingly, it's more popular than, even Baby Reindeer and other stuff on Netflix. Clarkson's making a few bob. Bless him. Rusty Mouse, if you want a wee dram of whiskey in the after-service coffee, just ask. I think you might be trampled in the rusty mouse. But if you do want a little livener in your coffee after the service, then please let Rusty Mouse know. He will be servicing everybody at the end. To Andy Sinsky, I'm standing also. Me too. No idea why I was looking down there. I'm standing also. Tried it with the Battenberg last night. Never again. I still can't sit down. Who? Andrew Sinsky. What can I say? Try Preparation H. It'll make it easy for you. Vivian Kenyon. Oh, Darlow. From Darlow. Wrong'un in her pew, Reverend. Ready and waiting. Oh, Vivian. There's an offer I can't refuse. So, welcome one and all to the body of the Kirk for this evening's sermon. Oh, you do like your double entendres. There was me thinking that... I can't remember the gag. God, blimey, my brain's gone. Must be the tea. Anyway, live 81 this evening. Next live 82 is this coming Sunday, 12th of May, 2024. We are trying to prepare something special for next week. Can't tell you any more than that. And hopefully, something special will be revealed on Sunday for you. I will open my cassock and you will be able to view and marvel at its beauty. So Sunday for you. And where are you tonight? Because we're getting into. It's such a shame that the bank holiday weekend was a bit pants. Do you not agree? And Monday, I say, everyone wanted to go out and it was chucking it down. So we come to this weekend where it's not a 3-day weekend. I've seen the vapor trails this evening. So I don't know whether they're seeding the clouds again for it to absolutely lash it down, or whether they're going to leave us alone to a little bit of sunshine. Bring me sunshine, as someone once said. Hang on. Flight 81, i.e. TIS. Hang on, wait a minute. Flight 81, the TIS. Mick, have you been on the bloody altar wine, or the cooking sherry, or both at the same time? And have you availed yourself of Rusty Mouse's whiskey? Well, what can I say? No, live. It's live 81 tonight. It's live 82 on Sunday, as night follows day. So where are we this evening? Are we in the back garden annoying the neighbours with my wit-watter? And are you managing to wring the last little bit of a very beautiful day out of today in the back garden. We do like, you know, playing with your back garden and your lady garden and your everything garden. So if it's beer ahoy in the rear of the kirk, then please let me know, just so I can let the altar boys know, because they might come in and say to me, yeah, Reverend, there's a load of oiks, load of wrong-uns at the back of the church. Is there anything that we should do with them other than give them more alcohol? So where are you tonight and which country? So we're looking for first timers. If you're a first timer, there you go. There's a free one for you. But let me know in the chat and I will... I say, Rexanne's sitting in her back porch. I do hope it's tidy, Rexanne. I do hope you gave it a little tidy up before you came into the body of the kirk this evening. There's nothing better than a little tidy porch. Hang on, where's Nigel? My wife's in the garden at the moment, just trimming a bush. Very nice, Nigel. Very nice. I do hope it... they call it topuri, don't they? Bush trimming. I appear to be a bit of an expert, but that's another story for a different life. Otherwise, I could get thrown in clink. Stuart's Dublin, Ireland. Oh, I love Dublin. Love. I've been so drunk many times in Dublin. So squiffy. But my my head dojo of the Bajink and Brian dojo, I don't know whether you know this, Stuart, but Brian McCarthy is just a beautiful soul and warrior and heads up the BBD, Bajink and Brian dojo, which is my own flavour of ninjutsu, my martial art. So I wish all the lads well. And there's some right characters in Dublin. Oh, proper characters. And I've stayed in some places in Dublin. I remember, I won't name names, obviously. But we were going over to Dublin for what's called a matsuri. Now, Japanese, that's a Japanese word which just means big party, really. So we were going for a 3 or 4 day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some grading, some training, and just a brilliant weekend with the BBD boys in Dublin. And I think we booked into a hostel. And some of the other lads booked into a hotel. And I said, I'll go with the lads. I'll go in a hostel. And one of them pulled me to one side and went, don't want to do that. I said, why not? He said, so-and-so's a bit of a heavy snorer. You might need some earplugs. I was like, nah, behave. I'm used to snoring. Let's put it that way. Because women snore too, mainly with their left hand. But so women snore. And I kind of go, yeah, okay. So it was like a bloody 747 taking off. I was lying there all night thinking, holy Jesus, will somebody save me from this? I even had earplugs in and it was still like a pneumatic drill. And I woke up the next morning, I said, lads, I'm knackered. I can't, how the hell am I going to get through this weekend? And they said, we told you. So from that one up, I did say to the lads that I was sharing the room with, is there anything we can do about this? I did, Mick. I tried the earplugs. Didn't, even though it cut out most of the noise, like 98% of it. This guy was like, he was proper. If it was an Olympic sport, he would have won gold. And I would have been awake all night anyway. Stuart says that you've mentioned Dublin a couple of times on here. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Stuart. Oh, love it. So where are you? Whether you're tidying up your back porch like Rexanne, or you're in Dublin like Stuart, just let me know, because it's, I could look at the data on the channel that tells me who's where and when and everything, but just, in the body of the kirk this evening, just let me know your where you are. Just looking at the Trump trial. Oh, this was Donald with his trousers down. Ooh, Donald, where's your trousers? As Scotty once says. Before we kind of get into things, I just want to say thank you to the legendary Battenbergers. Tracy Ann Cannon, who left a super sticker on Live 79. And forgive me all, I forgot on Sunday. There was other things going on that was a bit mad. But ever the gentleman, I will say thank you to the legendary Battenbergers. Tracy Ann Cannon left a super sticker, which was rather super, to be fair. Thank you, Tracy. To Jackie Glasgow, another super sticker. Lever, Jackie, thank you very much. Hope you're in the body of the kirk this evening. Roy Gordon, Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk. Lovely spot. Peter Sadler, originally from Maidenhead. I've had a few of them. And Martin Sullivan, regular impersonator, is now a legendary Battenberger. Thank you, Martin. And Jip Atkinson always makes me smile. Thank you, Jip. So hopefully everyone that I've mentioned so far. Oh, Jip's in. Abbey Wood. Yeah, Jip's in. Thank you, Jip. Who else was there? Tower Block Tracy. Small town just outside Stinkhole. One in the pink. The Bovril. And I always love the Bovril being in the body of the Kirk, just so I can say the Bovril, because it looks like I'm just dropping the kids off at the pool. Thank you for your kind words. The Bovril. And I hope you're in the body of the Kirk this evening. Les Griffiths, originally from Durham. Oh, it'll mean something to Les, but it won't mean anything to anybody else. Because originally I'm a County Durham boy. And it's now Tainan Weir, but County Durham originally. And you know the river in Durham, Les, when I was about 11 or 12, I managed to, you know how the way the river flows, but there's those, I don't know what they're called, this kind of concrete things that goes across the river. And there's two bridges either side. I was only about 11 or 12. It was great entertainment at the time, but I managed with a couple of my mates to get down into the river and then get onto these concrete stanchions and make me way across into a builder's yard, seemingly, on the other side. And the boys in blue were waiting. What are you doing? I'm just, no, we don't. What are you doing? Oh, we're just trying to cross the river. We can see that, but what are you doing in the builder's yard? We're not doing anything nefarious, honest. I'm sure that Durham is beautiful. If you've never been to Durham, it's one of the most beautiful cities, and the castle and Durham Cathedral. And you know, St Cuthbert is in Durham Cathedral, and St Cuthbert was brought down from Lindisfarne. And if you go into the Kirk, Durham Cathedral, you can walk down towards St Cuthbert's grave in the nave, and just as you get there, you can feel the energy change literally around you. You can feel the change in the energy as you approach St Cuthbert's grave in the nave at Durham Cathedral. Wonderful. Who else is in? Mick Rush, near the bridge, river walking. Yeah, I'm hoping that Mick says river walking. Les Griffiths, my mother was born in the big house across from the cathedral, 1926. Blimey, Les. Inky the Cat, Diana lived in Rottenstall for years. Lovely countryside. I agree. And Nicholas, lovely pair of knockers. Durham Cathedral. I know, got my hands on them once. Had to leg it rather quickly, though. So Rich, again, if Rich is in the body of the Kirk, thank you, Rich. And he did ask me a question when he donated to become a legendary Battenberger. And he said, who's the one person that I wish I could have interviewed? Fairly easy. I mean, I've kind of interviewed and met Brian Clough, Tony Benn, Anthony Wedgwood Benn, but Muhammad Ali, by a country mile. I mean, just to be in the same room as him, let alone interview him. But yeah, it would have been Muhammad Ali by a country mile. I mean, I'm sure I could sit down and think of some musicians and musos, but I've met and interviewed a whole load of them. But I think that the first question, the intro, and he would have been amazing to interview, because you just kind of let him run. Just a little breath, one breath question, poof, off you go. He would talk forever. But it would be, did he ever feel fear? And how? I mean, can you imagine Muhammad Ali? He would make some poem up about it, or he would say something. But did he ever feel fear? Wonderful. I know there's a book that's in my archive somewhere, which is a book about all those men that faced Muhammad Ali in the ring. Invariably, they all took a battering in the ring. Maybe they might have needed a bit of Battenberg, to be fair. But all those people that stood across the ring from Muhammad Ali and then had to go and ply their wares, so to speak. Stuart, have you interviewed any Irish singers, Adrian? I wish I'd been able to interview Phil Ninnis from Thin Lizzy, because there was a band, proper band. Any Irish singers? I think I did. I interviewed. Oh man, the cause, the girls from the cause back at Rock FM. Whew, a fair while ago. Any other Irish singers? Can't remember off the top of my head. Blimey, you've put me under the spotlight there, you're wrong. Nicholas, have you met Billy Connolly? No. That would have been an interview and a half, Billy Connolly. In his pomp. I mean, I know he's struggling a little bit nowadays, but that would be amazing. Bad Wolf Project. I am at that age now. When I look at my body, it's the same way an OAP looks at an icy road. Brilliant. Very funny. Another Tory MP crosses the floor over to Labour. The Bovril. We're going to talk about that this evening. So let's have a look. Some of the subjects we're going to get into tonight. We're going to talk about Russell Brand. Not obvious, is it? The Royals. Harry the Cook. That's with a U, not with a double O. Before you say anything about my accent, you're wrong. We'll talk about China sabotaging our cyber thingies. We're also going to talk about aliens. Seemingly, we've got a date where aliens are going to land. Seemingly. MPs defecting, as the Bovril said, they've crossed the floor. Are we going to use the oft-used phrase in 2024, which is different cheeks of the same arse? Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the Boy Scouts are finished. Interpret that whichever way you wish. And are we, you and I, just tin foil hat wearers because we refused the jibber jabber? And Inky the cat. Oh, my favourite person, Russell. Not. And the Jacobite. Oh, hello. The Jacobite. Where have you been? You're wrong. You've been on your holidays for 3 months. Missed you. Hey, what about the Kevin Spacey documentary? Did you watch it? No. Where is it? Is it ITV, Channel 4? They've got it in for him. They've definitely got it in for him. Great line. Carry on. In for me. The overall and Gareth and pigs may fly. Hang on, Gareth, what you said now? Gareth Henshaw, according to Darren Grimes, Nigel Farage may be joining Labour too. Now, there's a question. So that's kind of what we've got a few questions for you, 4 or 5, if you don't mind. Now, I think Nigel has to put up or shut up at the minute. He's made millions out of the mainstream media, but is he ever going to become an MP? He was an MEP, member of the European Parliament, but never was he an MP? I'm sure he was. Oh, it's of no great consequence. I think he's tried for about 8 times, and he's every time he's not succeeded. So maybe Nigel should go down to the pub and put himself down, tick a few boxes, and off you go with the general election. Why not? Jackie Glasgow, apparently William and Kate won't be at the BAFTAs, but Wills is sending a video of what day? What do they make of that? We are going to talk about that because there is definitely something going on. So don't start before I've started, because I'll end up finishing before you finish, if you catch my drift. Terry Wookford says, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been many years since my last confession. Uh-oh. Is it going to take a while, Terry? Are we going to be here all night? Mind you, we have got an offer from Rusty Mouse for a little livener in our coffee at the end of the sermon. So maybe everyone in the body of the Kirk wants to stay around and have a party later. Let me ask a question to start, and then we'll kind of get into this stuff, because I just some of it is observations on life, some of it is just downright silly. And remember that the body of the Kirk has a confessional. So if ever you feel the need to just go, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, it'll be 3 Hail Marys and a couple of Mars bars. That's as far as it goes. And there's so many naughty gags we could do. Hang on. Mick Roche, don't Bieber Becky me. Are you using a rather odd keyboard, young sir? Anyway, first question before you start. First question. Right, this is really contentious. And I've been reading about these teachers, these female teachers in their 20s that have been having it away with 15-year-old boys. One of them was having it away with one boy, but he couldn't make it for whatever reason. And then she went off with another one who she was having a full-blown affair with and ended up pregnant by him. So I kind of see it is 2024, and that is unacceptable. But when I was growing up in the 70s in my secondary school, I had the hottest teacher. Proper, was it Van Halen, hot for teacher? She was a proper hottie. And I was just thinking about this today. My hormones were raging when I was like 14, 15. I mean, if the wind blew in the wrong direction, I was putting tents up. All the lads will know what I mean by playing tents. And so I'm going to ask you this question. And this goes for the girls as well, although I do think that it's slightly different and hugely more contentious for the females of the parish. But the question is, after reading these stories, because one of the boys had sex with one of the teachers, and then he told his mates, obviously, told his mates, and his mates, it just went around the school like wildfire. And you've got some of the lads telling their mates, you've got other lads going, oh, I'm traumatized. Technically, it's statutory rape, so it is illegal. But if your teacher, question one, remember it's 1 for yes, 2 for no. If your teacher had laid it on a plate when you were 15-year-old, would you? Now, I'll hold my hands up and say, like a rat up a drain pipe. So I'm not going to put any caveats on this. And I know that it is 2024 and it is very, very, very different times. But, you know, I did my secondary schooling in the mid-70s when it was all kind of flares and stuff. It got me through puberty. If your teacher had laid it on a plate in your formative years, would you? Diane, are you a newbie? Diane Brooks says no. Marie says no. 2 gits in a car. Most of the lads are saying 1. So it's indicative of the kind of audience that's in the body of the kirk this evening. The confessional's over there. I think you need to go over there first before you sit down in the pews. But Sean says men saying yes, 1, women saying no. And I mean, it's interesting that these lads that are having their wicked way with the teachers, I've only ever seen one story, and one of them says, oh no, I was traumatized by it. Bless you, 15-year-old back in the 70s. I mean, the closest anybody, and Jackie Glasgow says no, 2. Jerry Rogers says no, 2. And Rexanne, 2. So it is very different for the ladies of the parish to the gents of the parish. But it's still statutory rape. It's still illegal. And these teachers will invariably have to answer to their accusers. But even if it was the 70s and it's 2024, I don't know why there's all this stuff going on. The teachers are only sort of 22, 23. They're only maybe 7 or 8 years older than the pupils that they're teaching. But really, losing your career and everything that you've studied for just for a little dance? I don't know. Sean says, I'll be in like a truffle pig. Diane Brooks, same Pauline. Hang on, what does Pauline say? Where are you, Pauline? Pauline says, my male teachers were minging. There you go. But also, I haven't mentioned the school, so I can mention this. He's probably dead now. But I don't know whether there were rumours around the school, because the kids are pretty switched on then and now, and there was rumours about some woodworking teacher who was being very, very, very familiar with young boys in the school, and it was just sort of whispered. So you don't know whether there was any truth in that. There was also teachers having their wicked way with each other. And we as a school, it was about 30 odd of us, went away to this outward bound course thing, and one of the PE teachers was absolutely knocking the neck out of one of the other teachers, and they were just at it like rabbits while they were away. Both of them were married, but absolutely, I mean, they kept they kept it down, but some of the lads were like, "Oh, have you seen so and so and so and so, so and so and so and so?" And they're at it, and I'm like, "Holy Jesus, really? They're married? They can't do that." Well, they did. Les Griffith says our geography teacher sat us on his lap, bouncing us up and down as we named the shipping lanes. It must have upset his stomach, because after a while he rushed out of the classroom holding himself. I've had that feeling before. Normally after a curry. Mick Roche says, check Mr. Man, pimp, crack dealer, and read the riot out dough. Is that Swahili, Mick? Gareth says, a girl at my school actually went out with a male teacher when she was 14. Me and my mates used to play the song Young Girl by Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. What a tune that was, just to annoy you. There was, we had a really intelligent teacher. I mean, he was kind of bordering on nutty genius, and he taught me a few lines in the library, and he was dancing with. He was a maths teacher, so he's proper nutty genius, and his paramour was much younger. She was like 20 odd years, maybe 30 years younger than him. He was in his 60s, I think. He could barely speak, but he was having his wicked way, and eventually he married her. And I mean, I don't think this will be allowed in 2024, but he was the teacher that taught me whip it in, whip it out, and wipe it on the curtain. Not quite sure what he meant by that. I'm still trying to figure it out to this day. If you have any clue, in the comments, please. Bad Wolf Project. Oh, and Bad Wolf Project's done something. I can't read it now. Roy Gordon, can you imagine the damage caused to both families if pregnancy occurred? Yeah, she's pregnant by one of these 15-year-old boys. And I did I tell you the story of the BBC Leicester couple? And I know some of the congregation know the story, but I still, every time I think about it, I laugh my cap off. Because it's the equivalent of, like, you used to hear the stories on council estates where husbands would hide in the wardrobe, and mama would welcome a friend home, and husband would stay in the wardrobe and would burst out the wardrobe at some point, in flagrante delicto, seemingly. But this couple, and you can Google it. Honestly, it's everywhere. And I was in the East Midlands at the time, and this female loved to have her wicked way with guys in fields while the husband watched. The husband was hiding behind a tree, like getting his binoculars out. Oh, darling, that looks marvellous. And I mean, it is just, should I laugh? Is that something I shouldn't be laughing about? But she was in the long grass, heaving with some guys. I mean, maybe it was an early form of dogging, but she was having a wicked way, except there was a very, very keen and young chap that used to come around and used to, bounce around and do what he used to do and flatten the grass with her. I said flatten, not fatten, flatten the grass with her, with a husband and hiding behind the tree going, oh, darling, whatso? And they got caught. He either fessed up to the cops or something, or went and told somebody, and he was only like 15 or so. They thought he was older, seemingly. But he was only 15, but he was very keen. With the vim and vigor and a bit of gusto, he it was all the time. But they got caught out. She got jail time. So, I mean, I don't know whether I should be laughing, but I am. Because it's just the way of the world, isn't it? Some people go, oh, no, Adrian, it's statutory rape, you can't do that. And I'm not suggesting anybody does. And I'm not condoning it. It's just the way of human beings. I just think of, I mean, the Working Men's Club. And I'm not quite sure. I was going to go and talk about Horlicks tablets next, but I'm not quite sure how we got onto this. Yeah, just a bunch of mucky tarts. Right, confessional for the lot of you. I'll go and sit in there. Well, might be a couple of hours, but you need to confess your sins. All of you, you're wrong. Anyway, so the Working Men's Club that on my council estate, and I'm not going to give you any further details other than that, and seemingly they arranged this, and my sister has more details than me, because every time she starts to tell me, and I've asked her to tell me about 40 million times, I just burst out laughing. And we don't get to the end of the story. We don't even get to the real meat of the story, pun intended. But it's just, so what they decided to do was that they decided to organise a party in the Workmen's Club after hours. And seemingly they drafted a stud in to kind of dance with all the ladies of the parish. Except somebody got a bit jealous. So it all kicked off, and somebody gave the stud a good kicking, and maybe he was like dancing with his partner, and it was like, I'd always wanted to see you with and then he didn't want to see her with anybody else. He got jealous and gave him a kicking, and literally the cops turned up, and from what I gathered, it was just the whole estate was alive with it and buzzing, because it was a proper party. It's like one of these things that, so I'm told, you can see on the internet. But I kept hearing all these little rumours, and my sister, who she's got the memory of an elephant, can remember everything. I can't. I'm laughing too hard. Hard being the operative, from what I can gather. So I think what we're going to do this evening, we're going to leave the confessional open for a little while longer after the sermon this evening, so you won't go to hell and you can confess your sins. Because I think I'll be going down there first. Hell, you're wronging before you start. So I want to tell you about, I don't know whether you remember these, but these are kind of from my youth. And I've been keeping an eye on these for nearly a year. There's been rumours that they were going to be re-released. Now I don't know whether you can see across the top, it says 150th birthday edition. So I thought, I've not had those in 30 or 40 years. Horlicks tablets. Now, you may remember Horlicks the drink, or however you define Horlicks, but they're little tablets. And they taste, they're irresistibly chewy and deliciously malty. So I thought, so I've been monitoring the whole internet for best part of 10 months. They're coming. And you get them from, I think it's B&M Bargains in the UK or in England. And anyway, I was out doing a bit of stuff for the new Mrs. Allen yesterday, and I thought, I'm just going to pop in, and like a miracle, I walked down the right aisle, and there they were. So this. Now, you have to understand, I'm a tight-arse northerner. I don't spend anything. Literally, I refuse to spend anything. Sitting in my counting house, counting out my money, and I saw these tins, the £1.75. I was like, brilliant. So I bought a few tins, some to send to members of my family who loved them back in the day. And I thought, I'll have a taste. Give myself a treat today. They don't taste like they used to, that's for certain. Malty taste, my hairy backside. No. And I'm like, what have you done? Have you added stuff in the back there that I can't see? Is it like E-numbers or something? Does it taste like petrol? They never tasted like petrol. They tasted like lovely and malty and the drink and everything. And I'm gutted. I'm genuinely gutted. So I don't know whether you can remember the Horlicks drink. It's not been on the market for, the tablets have not been on the market for years. And they've just been relaunched. I'm not quite sure how long for. But you pay £1.75 and you get 19 tablets. 19! At least Dick Turpin wore a mask. Before I opened the tin, I thought, oh, I bet there's loads of them. I bet they've been really decent and just packed it with a. And I opened it and I thought, what? You've ripped me off, you tarts. Don't taste the same. Not as malty. I'm gutted. So just in case you are a fan, and this is a revelation to you, would I say buy them? Or just buy the one tin, I suppose, just for the taste experience. But gutted. I'll now go and find some sarsaparilla tablets or some dandelion burdock, and I bet that doesn't taste the same either. Maybe your taste buds are knackered. It's old age or something. But Horlicks tablets, oh, the old Bovril. He says, I sinned last week. I dumped some rubbish in my neighbour's skip. I do not have 3 Mars bars to give as punishment, but I can offer a banana instead. So long as there's not Harry the old Bovril, you will be fine. But imagine offering, in the confessional, someone offering a banana to the vicar, the Right Reverend Allen. I'll be like, no, you can keep it. Otherwise, might have to put it somewhere where the sun don't shine, and or maybe you might end up walking like John Wayne. But Mars Bar, ask Marianne Faithful. I wish I was quicker. Marianne loves a Mars Bar, so I'm told. And Mick Jagger. Don't you know the story? Hang on, Tower Block Tracy. Aubergine. No, the wonder you walk like that. Jim Atkinson says, sure they aren't for the back. Are you sure they aren't for the back passage? What? The bananas? Or am I just going down a very unnecessary rabbit hole and you're all sitting back going, oh, the Reverend, what are you doing? Terry Wookford says, only malts I take a Guinness or a single malt. Oh, I agree with you. I shouldn't have bought them in the first place. But I had to eat all of them. Oh, yes. Can I just say that there appears to be a wave of common sense going over Blighty at the moment. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed how, since we had Billboard Chris on the channel, the wokerati in Canada and Australia are still at it. Did they use the AstraZeneca jibber jabber? Asking for a friend. That's all. So it looks like that there's a wave of common sense sweeping good old Blighty, where people are just, no, telling it like it is. You can Foxtrot Oscar, we're not interested. It appears that we as a nation are turning anti-woke. And that's not, your mum's sister that walks about in high heels carrying a bag with a knitted cap on her. But I know that the legal profession are just vile. They're just vile. And they're taught in law school that the only way to make sure that business is profitable is to create a moral vacuum. If there's a moral vacuum, there's loads of business for them. And we don't want a moral vacuum anymore. We want common sense. We just want common sense. And that's what this channel's been about since we launched it. But it appears that there is no longer moral vacuums popping up. Everybody's turning around like, no, we don't want that. We don't want woke stuff. The wokerati, the Foxtrot Oscar. Brilliant. I'm all for that. I'm up for that. And we've got quite a few people watching, so thank you for joining the Theatre of the Mind. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. But how are you, man? Smash the likes, you wrongs. It does help, seemingly, because if you smash the likes and the algorithm goes, oh, hang on, what's going there? That must be quite popular, so yeah, we'll send it out to everybody else. So it does seemingly help. I don't know whether we're getting to Russell Brand in a second, and then we're getting into the deeper stuff. The Met Gala. Can I ask you a question? I mean, I don't know whether it's sort of that stage of life where I could be a grumpy old tart, but I looked at the Met Gala stuff. It's just vacuous, superficial shite. And it's just like Rita Ora is not one of my favourite human beings at all. Because when you and I were being locked down, when you and I were being told what to do by these clowns in Westminster, Rita Ora was having a 30th birthday party. She'd organised, or someone had organised on her behalf, in a restaurant. And we were like, whoa, hang on a second, who are you? Who are you? Who are you to have a birthday party, spend tens of thousands of pounds while we're stuck in the house and we can't leave, even for a jog? And then she disappeared off to Australia for a couple of years while the heat died down. Now she's back, getting them out for the lads. I mean, is 2024 all about being naked to be noticed? I mean, my Hollywood beauties, whether it's male or female, it was always like the lads were always handsome and the women were always beautiful. And, somebody like Jane Fonda, who almost defined beauty. And then you have, I don't know, you've got varying recent beauties. And, I mean, for the last 100 years, the females have always been... There was one, I can't remember her name. She was some blonde beauty from Scandinavia who could shoot an arrow and told it like it is. So the Pats turned up one day and she went, right, lads, I've told you the Foxtrot Oscar. If you don't do as I ask you, I'm going to shoot you with me arrow and me bow and arrow. And they just laughed. So she shot one of them with a bow and arrow. And now that's that's not a broken superstar or film star, but this naked to be noticed. And like Rita Ora, she's wearing... Can you remember those door curtains that people used to put over the doors to either keep, especially on butchers, either keep the wasps out or the flies out, or to keep... Maybe she smells a bit, maybe they're just trying to keep the flies off her, I'm not quite sure. But back in the day, people used to have these plastic curtains, multicoloured curtains on their doors to stop stuff flying in. And she turns up at the Met Gala with one of these curtains on. And I just thought to myself, is that trendy? I mean, I know it's 2024 and I'm cracking on a bit now, but I'm looking at it thinking, that's shite, man. Technical term, obviously. Alan P. Gina Lollobrigida was my babe. Oh, yeah, I know. We could sit and talk about them all night. Will be completely unnecessary, of course. There would be a massive queue for the confessional. Mick says, Nick and Emily, I was subjected at the Met Robin on... Mick, man, I can't make head and a tail of it. Honestly, just use your psychic powers and I'll get it. Tailblock Tracy, Rita Ora, more like... Ooh, has she? Has she done one of those videos? Like Katie Price and stuff. They're all at it. They're all kind of doing stuff. But I kind of... And it's in the newspapers. So I'm thinking, are they just doing this? I mean, Kim Kardashian with a 19-inch waist. Who's interested? Nobody. Literally nobody. And Rita Ora with a curtain on and a sparkly cap on. Anybody interested? I mean... Is it just to get the Met Gala? Oh, I say, every year it's about fashion, darling. It's about fashion. Let everybody come in to the body of the Kirk and the Met Gala parties afterwards. I mean, you can have a few costume changes. But, I mean, I remember there was a character in Hill Street Blues. Remember the Hill Street Blues, the TV series? There was a character in there that used to run around shouting, I'm buck naked! I'm buck naked! And he was. I mean, you couldn't see because the camera angle was slightly different back in those days in the 70s and 80s. But there was a character there running around shouting, I'm buck naked. And there's Rita Ora standing there going, no, I'd rather have a steak for me dinner. And anyway, what she did during lockdown was wholly unacceptable. That 30th birthday party. And if that's... Alexa, don't. I'm busy. Alexa, I'm busy. You're wrong. What are you doing? Alexa, what are you doing?
I thought I heard a request to cancel.
I never said anything. Alexa.
I don't have an answer for that.
Unusual for you. Anyway, as I was saying, these actresses that are, walking around virtually naked, is that all they've got? I mean, it's 2024. Literally, is that all you've got? What your mother washed when you were a bairn? It's not classy for me. And Rita Ora wearing the door curtain. At least it'll keep the flies off her. And you know what flies fly round? Let's talk about Russell Brand. Let me just... Adrian, did you see the movie FM? There was a good naughty scene in it. Did that ever happen in the studios where you worked at? Oh, Andrew, I can't possibly... You can say that, but I can't possibly comment. Yes. And FM's a great film. Great film. There's a better one, though, on speech radio. It's called Talk Radio. It stars Eric Bogosian. Eric Bogosian, genuine actor, has a great voice. And some of it is very, 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 very near. Some of the characters that he talks to on his late night phoning, very near. And when I started I think it came out in 89. My boss said to me, "Oh, I've booked this film. It's called Talk Radio. I've got a preview for you. You can go up there on your own and have a look." Like, right, okay. What is it? What's about a late night phoning host to get shot? Cheers, boss. Anyway, he did, and I was traumatized for a week. But funny as, it's a great film. If you ever managed to see it, Talk Radio. Eric Bogosian stars in it. Let's talk about. Have we got enough time? Yeah, let's have a second question. So I've done that one, yes and no. And I want to know, now again, I want us to be measured and I want us to be serious, but not off on a tangent. But you know this clown, this Green Party clown, Allahu Akbar Green Party clown, should this Green Party clown be deselected for his stance on Gaza and shouting Allahu Akbar? Now, Allahu Akbar means God is great or God is greater. Should it be that he's deselected because that's unacceptable for somebody who's in politics and representing people? But then again, if he's only representing Muslims, is that appropriate for his electorate? So 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should this Green Party clown be deselected for his stance on Gaza and shouting Allahu Akbar at the end? I'll give you the question again. It's 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should this Green Party clown be deselected for his stance on Gaza and shouting Allahu Akbar? Now, the Greens are saying, no, he's not going to be deselected. He's been a very naughty boy and we've told him off. Is that a bollocking, seemingly? Quite what that means in 2024, I've no idea. But should he be deselected from the Green Party? Because I think this, in my view, has damaged the Green Party beyond what they think it has. The All Bovril won and deported. Very, very good opinion. So should this Green Party clown be deselected for his stance on Gaza and shouting Allahu Akbar, God is great or God is greater in a Christian country? So there's easily nearly 70 million of us that adhere to the Christian tenets. Don't see anybody saying two. Interesting. Thank you for your votes. I want to get to Russell Brand now. Keep voting if you wish. Mick Ross says accountability. They've now called it Rochdale. Yeah, well, we know what happens in Rochdale. Sadly. So I'm not going to ask you a question, but I would love to hear your comments in the comments of tonight's live. So, Russell Brand. So if anybody is converting to any other denomination, faith, however you want to term it, as far as I'm aware, you have to study. I mean, some religions, some faiths, do actually put a lot of store by someone who studies their faith and converts to their faith, no matter what it is. As the there is a faith in Israel, and they acknowledge the other 8 faiths, and they say there are many paths to one truth. But it's the way that Russell Brand has gone about this. It's not like he's been to church, he's been a brother. He's not the happy clappers. No, he's not been to the body of this particular kirk, and he's not been to the confessional. He's not. So seemingly, he was dunked in the Thames, and he went, "I've been baptized." Really? Now, normally, the baptisms that I've seen and taken part in, because my Methodist church used to have a raised platform where they used to deliver the sermons from, and underneath, I mean, it took a while, but underneath there was like a little mini swimming pool, and that's where they all went in white, all white, and Yusuf, useless, Humza, useless, and they would do. I mean, it's like a millisecond. It's literally a couple of people, get hold of them, like dunk them in the water, you're baptized, there you go, off you go. Yeah, you've changed. And I've seen people speaking in voices like, I mean, some people will call it the devil. Just because it was religious and it was within a church, people were talking languages I didn't understand. And as they hadn't ever left Sunderland, how the hell that they understood what they were saying? It's like speaking in tongues, so they say. But this Russell Brand thing, I'd love to hear your comments. Am I the only one that's a little uneasy as to what he's up to? Let's leave everything else outside the body of the kirk. Are you uneasy? I'm kind of just thinking there doesn't appear to be. And he's talking about, no church has connected itself with Russell Brand for the baptism. So no church has said, "Oh yeah, Russell visits regularly. Oh yeah, in Henley-on-Thames. Yeah. Comes in, has a bit of a prayer, has a bit of a sing along to the hymns, and then he goes home." None of that malarkey. And he's not been baptized in a church. He's been baptized in the river. Now, I do understand that it does say in the good book, you don't have to visit the house of the Lord to be faithful. But really? So Russell Brand gave no indication that he was attending a church regularly. So is this sort of Christianity light, just taking the best bits? He's always said he was Buddhist. And then he's gone from being Buddhist, maybe it was the Dalai Lama sucking the tongue of that 12-year-old to kind of put him off. But he's now saying, you've been baptized. How does that work then? Is he just picking the best bits out of faiths and then indulging himself with that? I would have thought the integrity was in attending church and making sure that you were aware of what the good book says. And, you're not cramming for your finals, but you just know a bit. And maybe he's got one of those photographic minds like Bob Monkhouse, where he just reads it once, poof, he's got it all in there, and he can regurgitate it at any time. But is he just doing the best bits? The pop shot, the showbiz angle. I've been baptized. Well, who's going to tell us? The bloke upstairs. There we go. We're back in the confessional again. But I'm just looking at this thinking, is this a story? Is there something about to come out that he'll go, "I've been baptized. Yeah, in God's eyes, I'm clean now"? I don't think this is the whole story. And I do think there's something else in the background that we're not being made aware of. But Russell Brand baptized in the Thames. Oh, have you seen the turds in the Thames that float around? Ugh. Fancy going for a swim in there? No. Rusty Mouse, he's acting. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Rusty Mouse. Retro, good to see Retro's in the body of the kirk tonight. Retro says, night all, up early. Well, Retro, brilliant. I'll see you for a millisecond, then you're off. You slacker. I'm just joking. Sleep well, sir. We'll catch up soon. Rexanne, it's weird to be a Christian and not go to church. And London has a big church scene from the American church, Orthodox, Protestant, Catholic, Quaker, and so on. So where's his congregation? I mean, I've got my own congregation here in the body of the kirk for the theatre of the mind. Do I fancy being baptized? No. And Christian? Yeah. I was brought up Christian, certainly. My dad was High Church of England. So I don't... there's just something that doesn't sit right. I don't kind of get it. And I don't know why. Gareth Henshaw says, Taylor Russell goes to the Church of the Latter-day Attention Whores. That's brilliant, Gareth. Brilliant. Napoleon Bonaparte, good to have you in the body of the kirk this evening, Napoleon. I thought religion was a personal thing. Brand has to share this stuff. Does anyone care? Yeah, I get that. But me being a cynical old tart, I kind of look at it and go, okay, what's this about? Is it PR? Has it been placed? Is it PR? Why is it being placed? What is coming out? Now, I've got all the newspapers with all the reportage about all the allegations against him. I can't quite work out what that boy is up to. But that boy is up to something. And anyway, if he's been baptized, he's been absolved of all of his sins. And there's a load of this. Like Candace Owens suddenly got Catholicism. Where did that come from? And it's all these people who are going, I'm godly, me. I've got faith, me. I'm was it cleanliness is next to godliness? Maybe they should have some Battenberg sit down and tell us about it. Tell us their story. Because I was preaching in my Methodist church at 11 years old. My first sermon was about light. How I remember that, I've no idea. Gareth Henshaw, they're all actors. Paid for opposition. Terry Wookfit says he can claim asylum. Of course. Inky da Cat, definitely PR. He's done every trick in the book to stay in the public eye. I mean, I know that I kind of the theatre of the mind, body of the kirk, is almost like a stream of consciousness. And I do take my time to come up with subjects that we can talk about and how we talk about them and the information that's contained therein. And it's grown from normally an hour to 2 hours. I mean, there's times when I could go on for 3 hours because I can talk the hind legs off a donkey. If you've ever listened to me on Talk 107 in Scotland, you'll know when there's no callers. But what we try and do here is we try and cut through the fog of war. We try and cut through all the BS, all the brown stuff. Tonight we are going to get to the jibber jabber because AstraZeneca, not happy. They've pulled it worldwide. And there's Pfizer buying up Canadian turbo cancer companies because they reckon there's going to be a load of cancer. Why on earth would they do that? It's the old sales technique. Create the need and then fulfill it. So we'll get round to that, but I want to get to Harry the Cook. I want to get to Prince Harry, and this boy, he just needs somebody to have a word with him and say, here, Ginger Sphericals, Foxtrot Oscar, man, the world doesn't owe you anything. Foxtrot Oscar, you've been given a fair amount of money. The king, I was going to say your dad there, but the king doesn't want to see you. Now, maybe we will see something in the newspapers tomorrow because today was the first anniversary of the coronation of King Charles III. Why couldn't he just tell Invictus, lads, look, it's King Charles's coronation anniversary. Can we just do it another night? Can we do it on the Tuesday or can we do it on the Thursday? But to do this on the first anniversary of King Charles's coronation, it's just churlish. It's like a little brat. It's like a little child that needs a thwack to bring him into this week and just say, here, some common sense, Bonnie lad. Don't you have any idea of what's going on in the world outside of your own little universe with you and your two higher kids? Oh, did I say that out loud? So Meghan's still in America. The kids are going to be in America, but they're not going to go to Nigeria, because considering they are descendants of Nigerian or a Nigerian, if you believe what we're being told, I don't, not in a month of Sundays. She's never mothered those two kids. They might be his, but they're not hers. Not in a month of Sundays. So I looked at some of the reportage today, and I was kind of looking at the mainstream media to see if there'd been any developments. And the funny thing is, he wasn't allowed to stay in a palace. Well, obviously. Because, again, forgive me for being a cynical old tart, but we know that he's made threats. But, I've got enough for a second book. Yeah. I mean, I've shown you the front page newspapers of, when was it? January 2023. I've done weed and coke, says Harry, the idiot. And have you noticed that the story about his immigration application has disappeared? They think we're idiots. So he wasn't allowed to stay in the palace, obviously and evidently, because if there is something going on in the background, Harry's just going to blab it. He's going to go straight over to Meghan and go, "Oh, darling, do you want to give that a bit of a tug, please, while I tell you this new story? The story is that, and he could have told her that just by skulking around the palaces. Now, if there's anything going on, and we will get to it in the moment, it's not where's Wally, it's what's happened to Wally. We've seen his stripy jumper. That's not Harry, that's Kate, by the way, Catherine, Princess of Wales. So Charles III has gone, right, just tell Harry to foxtrot Oscar. I'm not entertaining him. I'm not interested in him. Why doesn't he just go? So he couldn't meet the king. And as I said to you, he would only want to meet the king so that he could have the trappings of royalty. I'm going to see father, papa. Going to see, papa, can I have the royal security, please? And while I'm here in Blighty. And like he's coming out of some hotel somewhere, and you think, oh, not a palace. Have we had a bit of a come down, Harry? Pun intended. He said he's done weed and coke. Keep up. So no Meghan, no kids with him, and I think he's off to Holland, and I think they may meet up with him in Holland, and then on another private jet fly off to Nigeria, where she's 43% Nigerian. But he can't be trusted. So the royal family have gone, oh, here, ginger sphericals, foxtrot Oscar. We're not interested. But the king has said via his minions, his staff, no, you can go off. Technical term that they obviously use in royal circles. So I'm going to ask you this. So Harry's not allowed in any of the palaces because it would end up in another book. So what's happened to Catherine? Now, I'm doing my own digging, and I will say two things. If she has had and is having any treatment for cancer, the chemotherapy is preventative. So as I said to you, that she's had this operation in January, and when they've taken whatever they've taken out, and I believe it to be her uterus, they've looked at it, checked it, and it's got precancerous cells. So they're doing preventative treatments. She won't be back before September. So if it's 6 months, she's got the treatment, then she's got the recovery from the treatment. So she might not be in the public eye for another 4 months. That's if that's what's happened. And then we have the divorce rumours. Kids have not been seen. So there's the divorce rumours, whether they're true or not. Again, we have nothing corroborative to put with those. And then there's she's shuffled off this mortal coil. And there's no corroborative evidence with that. But as I keep saying to you, and I have worked in public relations, it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. And at the moment, they're saying absolutely nothing. But the other big tell is this. The newspapers, they are not saying anything. The press are not saying anything. The press are not asking anything. The press are following the narrative set out by Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace. And I keep referring you to when Harry was in Afghanistan, nobody knew anything because there was kind of like a blackout. So this story that comes out today, and maybe it will it was sort of online, social media. Maybe they will talk about it in tomorrow's press, but I'm not sure that they will, because the headlines was King Charles takes military role from Prince Harry and gives it to William. It was in Harper's Bazaar. That's where it started. And I thought, hang on a second. Harry's never had that. Ever. But I believe this is pure misinformation that's been promulgated by the Montecito morons. It's coming out of California. And the question I have to ask is this yet another attempt by Harry and Meghan to insert jealous Harry, because that's what he is, the ever resentful Peter Pan of the royal family, into a story that doesn't even concern him? And I still maintain that when those kids were younger, Harry, and this is a northeastern term, tried to brain William with a golf club. And then within the golden hour, because you only ever get the truth in the first hour, then after that it's been managed by any number of PR executives. They said, oh, no, it was a friend. It was an accident. It was a friend. But the initial reporting of it was Prince Harry has hit Prince William over the head with the golf club. He's jealous. From a young age, he's being told, you're just a spare, mate. Just enjoy life. And then he gets off his nut on recreational gear. But Harry was never Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps. Never. But the media have reported that he is, to try and stir the pot up, to try and give the beehive a bit of a shake. King Charles held that position first as Prince of Wales on March the 1st, 1992. Harry was barely 8 years old. Then King Charles kept that position until August 2023, when he announced in an appointment that Prince William, the heir and now Prince of Wales, would become the new Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps. So Harry has no place in that discussion. Somebody somewhere has tried to fly a kite, and they've gone, oh yeah, we can get some more press. We'll get, some more coverage. No, he's not part of that discussion. He is not the king. He is not the heir. He is not the Prince of Wales. He is not qualified to be Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps either. Yet somehow his PR team are trying to insert him in order to play the victim. Look what my brother and my dad did. And like I say, there's still questions over who fathered him. They won't go away either until we have a DNA test. And have a guess who's got the results of that? Meghan. Yet, King Charles holds the position for 31 years. And on May 13th, which is a couple of days away, the position will officially be Prince William's. Now, he is the pilot by trade and profession who served in the RAF, SAR, and saved 149 lives. That's Prince William. He's a proper pilot. Proper. Not, I've had an award, so I must be. Did somebody say Prince Harry was a rear gunner? I'd heard those rumours as well. So Prince William is the RAF pilot and officer who will be king and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So it's a very, very fitting appointment. Harry, look, mate, if you're watching this, and I very much doubt you will, you've made your bed. Now quietly lay in it. Choices carry consequences. You've made your choices. They have consequences. And I think young Harry needs to learn to deal with the consequences of his own actions and stop inserting himself obsessively in William's life. Because that's what he's doing. From the moment he tried to brain Prince William over the head with a golf club. Now, it wouldn't have been a one iron. Definitely not. Because not even God can hit a one iron. Now, the position was never his. Never was his. Never will be his. King Charles I. It's his first anniversary today, the 8th of May. His anniversary. I mean, it's all about Harry. Why? We have a king of this sceptred isle. Why? And the poor guy's got cancer. Some saying terminal, could be 18 months. But others are saying he's still got cancer, he's still being treated. Why can't these idiots just foxtrot Oscar and leave us the hell alone? Now, I also understand that Queen Camilla, quite rightly, is by the king's side all the time, given his treatment and celebration of the first anniversary. And what's the old thinking? Children should never get in between a man and his wife. Spouses above children, no exceptions. And you know that the last time he came over, Queen Camilla didn't want to meet him, didn't want to be anywhere near him. So the king, they said 45 minutes. My hairy backside, he didn't see him for 45 minutes. What's he going to say? Papa, can I have some more money? No, more like 15 minutes. And the other thing that I've noticed, Piers Morgan appears to be the royal mouthpiece now. And can you remember a few months ago when Camilla was caught out having lunch with Piers Morgan and Jeremy Clarkson? I wonder why. Well, if Piers Morgan is the royal gobshite, then that's why. He's going to, every time there's a royal story or a major news story in like the current Bun or one of the right-wing newspapers, Piers Morgan appears to be in there, writing it. But he was the editor of the Daily Mirror, which is a left-wing rag. So why is he writing for right-wing when he was editor of a left-wing? Or is it all about the Benjamins, Piers? Don't care, all about the money. So I'll leave that kind of royal malaise with you. I'll allow that stew to percolate a little bit more. Because it is just utter bollocks. But I want to talk about the chaos at oh yeah, Lee Jones. We'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about the jibber jabber close to the end of the live, because it really is important. Because well, we'll get to it. Let me plow through all of this, and we will get to it, because I want to leave the best and the most important to last. So this chaos at airports. Now I'm off for just a couple of days of sunshine, and there's me and the new Mrs. Allen. We're shall we go to Sicily? Oh yes, why not? Adrian, have you been out and plied your wares to make a few bob? Yeah, I've got £4 10p. Who gave you the 10p? All of them. But this passport control, I had to go and get a new passport last week, and that was traumatic enough. But now it's seemingly the Chinese. It's cybersecurity. So there's chaos at the airports. There's chaos at the MOD. Seemingly 270,000 pay records have been accessed. And then it said China. Now World War III is not going to be bombs. Don't be silly. I mean, it might be the Samson option in the Middle East if Israel go, oh, we're not going to win, just lob. Well, they've got 150 nuclear weapons. But it's not bombs. It's going to be online. It's electronica. So China technically have already won. And wasn't Xi Ping Pong in Paris with what's his face, the little fella and his husband, seemingly Emile Macron and his husband. So why is the Chinese have been over to America? We haven't had them over here, have we? No, we haven't. They've had them in, was it Ukraine? And now they've got them in France. And he's obviously doing some kind of European tour to garner some support. The U-Bovril, it must be one of Infosys Fujitsu's systems installed at the airport. Oh, the U-Bovril, I think you might have hit the nail on the head. But the Chinese are at something. They're at it. And so I believe that World War III, China's already won by a country mile. I mean, even Vladimir Putin, he walks a bit funny. I think it's the dildo shoved up his backside. But, oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? The question on my lips is, who's the data contractor for the passport control at the airports? Because you know it's not going to be a British company. And who's doing all the data for the Ministry of Defence? Is it Infosys? Is it a French firm? Is it a foreign firm that one of our politicians has taken a backhander from? Grapevine Media, another newbie. Now, I did some research a little earlier today, and I tried to find out who was the data contractor for the MOD. Can't find it. Well, it's the MOD. Obviously, you're not just going to ding, 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 ding. Press, return. Oh, I say, it's in Google. No, the MOD won't let you see that. 270,000 pay records accessed. So now you know who all our special squadrons are. They know everything. But like I say, I tried a little earlier today. It's nigh on impossible. But if you can do better, I know there's people here who are fabulous researchers. We'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully there'll be no chaos when the new Mrs. Allen and I go away for a few days. Do you know what they're talking about? Aliens. They are. Especially, you know that astronaut, Tim Peake. He's one of ours. He's one of the... hang on a second. Gareth Henshaw says, being serious, most likely to be Serco, whose pronouns are bleeping useless. Oh, tell it like it is, Gareth. Don't mind you being a sweary Mary. All the two Reds kicking in, don't worry. Sunflower says, good point to Nicky Watson. Hang on, what did Nicky say? I'm behind only on the Harry and Meg's bit. I think Archie lives in the UK with his mother. Funny how Harry comes over every year around the time of his birthday. Do you know? What a great point, Nicky. Now, I know for absolute surety that if there is a royal birth and they are to be in the line of succession, there has to be a witness on behalf of the monarch in the room as they give birth. It's happened for hundreds of years to make sure that the person they say is in the line of succession is actually the person that they say. But it is interesting that Harry's always over here for Archie's birthday. Excellent point. Thank you, Nicky. That had kind of flown me by, but it is a very, very good point. As I was saying about astronaut Tim Peake, Rexanne says, LBC via Twitter, photos of Russell Brand hugging Bear Grylls moments after being baptised in the Thames. So, okay, I'm going to ask this because Rexanne's given us as a surety, as evidence, corroborative evidence. There's pictures of Bear Grylls giving Russell a hug. Okay, who's the minister that oversaw the baptism? It's not Bear Grylls, unless he's part of the Universal Ministries that I paid me cash to. So you can have like a funeral or wedding. I'm not sure about a baptism. So who was the minister that oversaw the baptism? Not Bear Grylls, because it's good publicity for his new Netflix show. Him and Holly. Who was the minister? Anybody got any idea? Not stated. Thank you, Rexanne. I knew it wouldn't be. I think it's just, as somebody said a little bit earlier, I think it was the Bovril says, it's just publicity. Benjamin's. Chatty Glasgow. Mick Rush. He's not Ken Dodd. Hang on a second. Paulie Galtier. Oh, Paulie Galtieri's in the body of the Kirk this evening. Welcome back, Paulie. Good to see you. Reverend Nicky Gumble of the Alpha course, obviously. Nigel Green says Nicholas Soames. Bit broad in the beam was old Nicholas, and very friendly with Charles, seemingly. No, not that I'm alleging anything. Nicholas Soames, wasn't he the bloke who told Princess Diana to mind her own business when she was getting involved with the landmine stuff? Oh, yeah. I mean, people were talking about Charles and Camilla back in the day, but I believe that landmines stuff was what got her killed. Murdered. And then it was all covered up. But Gareth Henshaw, Minister Tom Bowring. Has he got one of those? A Bowring? Has been mentioned. Oh, I say. Minister, not as in political minister. But, well, let's have a picture. Let's show us, because the way to deal with this kind of stuff, if you just want it as a piece of truth, you just go, here's Russell, just after being baptised, or the video, put it online, put it on his channel, everybody will watch it. Bear Grylls was there, giving him a hand, so to speak. And then we've actually got the minister saying, yes, it was a joy. It was an absolute privilege to be able to baptise Russell. But I haven't seen any of that, unless he's drip feeding it. So it creates this this frenzy of, oh, Russell Brand, he's been baptized. What I say, thought the bagger was baddest. So I want to get back to astronaut Tim Peake. He says that alien life form is going to be found. Astronaut Tim Peake has said that alien life forms will be found within 5 years. Now, I don't know whether he's been to the supermarket lately on a weekend, but the buggers are already here. Just saying. And for those that wonder, I don't sugarcoat stuff. I'm not Willy Wonka. So let's get to these idiots in the Pink Palace. Tory MP Natalie Elphick, she's defected to Labour. So she's gone from one side of the house, she's walked over and go, hello, my name's Natalie. Can I join your gang, lads? Bless us, please. Now, as I said earlier, everybody's been using this phrase in 2024, different cheeks of the same arse. It is now simply the political classes, not the political parties. So if you look at it, somebody who says, I'm a Tory, yeah, I'm a Conservative, goes, I don't want to be Conservative anymore, can I take me ball and go play with Labour? They're diametrically 180 away from the Conservatives, and they join Labour. I mean, unless you're Lee Anderson, you go to Reform. But is it just about the power? She states, and she says, the Conservatives have become a byword for incompetence and division. Nice of you to say so. So you'll be one of them then. Not one of them, just one of them. Surely, if you think that the party is a byword for incompetence and division, I would have used stronger words than that myself. But if she's a Tory and she's ball deep in conservatism, surely you'd want to stay and improve your own party. Not jump because at the next general election, Labour are going to get in with a 200-seat majority. Because it just looks like you don't give a flying, you're not interested in anybody else. All you want is the power and the money. Because you know that if you serve 2 terms, then your pension from Parliament is whatever level you attained within Parliament. So say you become a minister or the Prime Minister, you will get that wage of, say, a Prime Minister for the rest of your life. So long as you've done 2 terms. So if you've just been a backbencher who's earned 80 or 90 grand a year plus all the add-ons, then that's what you'll get as a pension for the rest of your life. I mean, can you remember Malcolm Rifkind, who was complaining that he couldn't live on 80 grand a year? What kind of party's he having? Now, I used to live in Musselburgh, and Malcolm Rifkind lives in Musselburgh in a massive pile at the top of Musselburgh. He's almost the laird of Musselburgh, and he complained that he couldn't live on 80 grand a year. What kind of parties is he having? The old bottle, she's a right-wing Tory, so why the flip? Some say Starmer will put her in the Lords later. Why would he do that? Just, yes, you can go and sit on and have ermine and mink. And I recently was in the House of Lords, and the gold in the House of Lords, the gold, and it's real. Not like, spit and polish, looks like gold. No, proper thing. Worth millions. But interesting point. Thank you for that. Ingy the Cat says, Theo, answer power. She wants power. Same as General Clarkson. If only we could have Top Gear back with the lads. Clarkson et al. Jip Atkinson, Binface. Oh, I loved Count Binface. I mean, I was thinking, it's very English because we are eccentric. It's very English to have Count Binface, because it used to be the Monster Raving Loony Party, and it was brilliant. Every time there was an election, try saying that, the Japanese, they'll laugh in your face. Last time there was an election, they can't pronounce their L's, they pronounce them as R's. I'll leave you a couple of seconds while you work it out. So, Monster Raven Looney Party, every election on it, it would appear, and it was just brilliant. It was us. It was the English. We're mad. We're eccentric. We're wonderful, and brilliant fighters. And Count Binface was just, I just thought, joy of joys, 2024. We're getting back to who we really are. Mad, I tell thee, mad. But Count Binface, it was wonderful. So, Jip, I'm with you. Absolutely, categorically with you. Rexan says they said Elphick did it for a peerage. Ooh. What? I don't understand that. Why would... Unless she has to stay in the House of Commons for a little while longer, and the Tories are not going to do that. And maybe her political hue has gone from light blue to red, don't know. But why would she go to Labour? They've got to have a 200-seat majority, according to some polls. And Monty Panesar, I mean, poor Monty. He's no sooner quit cricket and now he wants to be an MP. And then he says, oh, yes, I'm going to come left arm over the wicket, Your Honour. And he's quit George Galloway's party already. Oh, no. Look, I've seen Test cricket matches last longer than Monty Panesar's political career so far. He says he needs longer time to find his political home. Oh, you're not going to go to Labour, are you, Monty, because you think they're going to get into power? And it would be an easy way to get into power? I wonder who's got to him. Monty Panesar, Labourite? I wonder. And I'm sure you already know this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. As of the 29th of April 2024, 102 MPs have announced that they will not stand again in the next general election. There's only 650 of them. There's like a sixth of them have gone, I've had enough of this, man. It's nothing but hassle. I'm sick and tired of brown envelopes being thrust into me grubby little mitts. And everybody thinks we're corrupt. Correct. So 102 MPs, as of the end of April 2024, they've announced that they will not stand again in the next general election. The most recent MP to announce they are standing down was Dan Poulter, who has been the MP for Central Suffolk and North Ipswich since 2010. So he gets his pension. Don't really matter. Doesn't have to do the work. He's done more than 2 terms, so off he go. And a total of 39 MPs have left or been removed from their party in the current parliamentary term. I mean, so let's get to a little bit of AI. We'll get to the Boy Scouts, and then we will get to what I've been waiting to tell you all night. So I'm looking at AI and have been aware and watching and learning prompts and stuff over the last year or so. But predictive, generative, and augmented artificial intelligence can power innovation right now. So it's moving so fast, and if people don't keep up speed with it, we're going to be lost. So artificial intelligence engineers at top tech companies have told a news organization in America that the pressure to roll out AI tools at breakneck speed has come to define their jobs in California. They say that much of their work is assigned to appease investors rather than to solve problems for the end users of the AI, and that they are often chasing OpenAI. But I know that Elon Musk is trying to outrun OpenAI again, because wasn't he one of the backers of OpenAI? But what they're saying is that there is burnout is an increasingly common theme as AI workers say their employers are pursuing projects without regard for the technology's effect on climate change and surveillance and other potential real-world harms. There's no such thing as climate change, man. Anyway, let's get to... So I just want to sort of, as I do with a lot of these lives, I'll just put something on your radar for a little while, and then in 3 or 4 months' time, we'll revisit it when it all kicks off. So the Boy Scouts, and we're back to Bear Grylls again, because isn't he sort of the face of the Boy Scouts? The Boy Scouts have rebranded and are dropping the boy to become Scouting America. So everyone feels welcome. Everyone. Now, the organisation says they want to be welcoming and inclusive, which is why they're dropping the boy. Now, this will be a simple but very important evolution as we seek, this is quoted from the organisation, we seek to ensure that everyone feels welcome in Scouting. Go woke. Go broke. Scouting America provides a welcoming, safe environment where youth can become the best version of themselves by learning from and respecting each other. So, let's just look at it. So, Scouting America, as it will become, had Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. What in the world else would they need? Is Scouting America exclusive? I mean, they're talking about having single-sex toilets. Now, I remember a radio station that I worked at, and literally, they used to have single-sex toilets. And I didn't want to be sitting in one cubicle next to somebody of the female persuasion in the next cubicle whilst I'm, dropping the kids off at the pool. No, it's just not. We men are different. And how the women would, I mean, can you imagine coming out of the trap and then going to the sink to wash your hands, and then you just no. So, should they do the same for the Girl Scouts? Just call it Scouting America, and everybody can stay under the same tent. I mean, everybody knows in the military. Everybody. You have lads on their own. These are fighting men. You inject women in there, it's just going to cause all kinds of shit and hassle in the army, which is why they didn't do it. Navy, Rum Bum and Baggy and the army or the Air Force, that's why they didn't do it. But then the Wogarati got hold of them and went, you have to, it's the law. My take on this, Scouting America, look, it's worked for 100 years. What is it that doesn't work anymore after 100 years? Is it just because of the language, the vocabulary that we use? Oh, Scouting has to change. No, it bloody doesn't. So if you have kids, would you be letting them join the Scouts for their safety? I mean, they're as confused as it is. I wonder what Bear Grylls makes of this. So the Scout oath is, on my honour, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law. To help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake and morally straight. So remember, the left, like Joe Biden and his cohorts and Keir Starmer. So Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? What the left do is they identify a respected institution. They kill it, they gut it, and then they wear its carcass as a skin suit whilst demanding respect. The poor Scout organisation, man. What are they trying to make it relevant? Are they trying to make it relevant in 2024, or are they just killing it off? It's worked for 100 years. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Quick question before we get into the real meat. Quick question. Are you sick of the train strikes yet? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Are you sick of the train strikes yet? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Another quick question. We might have one more before we end. Are you sick of the train strikes? Because they haven't stopped, have they? Mick What's-his-face. Oh, yeah, we'll be doing this and we'll be doing that and ASLEF and stuff. And I mean, are you sick of the train strikes yet? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And while you're doing that, let's talk about the bobble hats. Now, I kind of mentioned AI, and something really weird happened today. Some are saying no, some are saying yes. Interesting, very interesting. I was talking about AI just a moment ago, how some people are getting rich from it. Some people are looking at it and go, it's like the beginning of the internet, Wild Wild West. I mean, I've been on the internet since 1991. And even then, it was like a 28K modem. It took half an hour for a picture to download. So it was all very slow until we got into the really super fast stuff, broadband in the early noughties. But today, Spotify said, because I use Spotify as a research tool for some of my radio shows. And Spotify says, we found this one for you. Ultravox. Now, I don't know whether you remember Midure and Ultravox from the kind of back end of the 70s and 80s. Wasn't Billy Curry part of Heaven 17 and left Heaven 17 to set up Ultravox? I was playing them originally back on the radio back in the day, back in the early 80s, Ultravox. And my favourite that the vinyl that I still have in my collection somewhere was All Stood Still. And it's one of those brilliant radio records that some people will buy because they like the tune, but there are other people, professional radio presenters, that kind of look at a particular piece of music, if it's a single, if you will, and they'll see how they use it. So I know that All Stood Still had a sudden end, like end, and then it has two donuts in the middle, what we call donuts in radio, where you could voice stuff. So if you're doing a breakfast show or a drive show and you've got to get lots of information in and you want to play the whole song, you can drop bits and read scripts and do stuff over the top. So I thought that All Stood Still was a wonderful, wonderful radio record because it had lots of tools in there. And then there was always Vienna, which Joe Dolce, Shut Up in Your Face, kept off number one. Can you remember that? Joe Dolce, Shut Up in Your Face. How shite was that? Kept Ultravox Vienna off the number one slot. And I remember working for Sunderland Hospital Radio at the time. And again, if you go the start of Vienna, which is beautifully atmospheric, and then you get halfway through, and if you're on a tight breakfast show or drive show, you might want to jump in. It's a massive donut, about 50 seconds, I think. You can jump in and give information that you want to do, or read a script, or just, talk about traffic, weather, time. It's a wonderful radio song and brilliantly atmospheric. But why was Spotify saying to me, we've got this for you. Have you thought about Ultravox? Yeah, 40 years ago, mate. I was playing it on the radio. Foxtrot Oscar. And that's AI. That's how shite AI is. That, it's going to take over the world. It's going to be World War III. Shall we play a game? No, we won't, because you're not good enough yet. We're still miles away. And talking of AI, again, the reason why I have so many books is AI. Who's going to be writing history? Is AI going to start to rewrite history in its own thinking? Or is it going to be history in our books, in our history books? So if you want accuracy, buy books. Don't get into AI, because AI will go, oh, no, that's wrong. You're wrong. No. I know what I'm talking about. No, you're wrong. So let's get to what they may want to change. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Sunflower. Kindle books can be changed already. And Sarah Ann, plain existence. I don't think you're a first timer, but all the same. Sarah Ann says, AI can't even answer simple cues. I know. And prompts. But how quickly are we going to get there? And at what point? It's a bit like the Library of Alexandria. That disappeared. Nobody knows where that went. And it had all the books from history. And we don't know. So they will try, Amazon maybe with their AI, will try and rewrite history. So we need to have the books. And that's why I buy so many of them. Because it's historical documents that like sometimes if there was a big story explodes, I can go straight to one of my books and go, oh, right, hang on, what did he write in there? Like the royal family or historical books. And the reason why I mentioned this is to get you to this point, which is AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca. They've pulled it, their jibber jabber, worldwide. And they're being a bit vague-ish about why they've pulled it. Didn't work, seemingly. Oh, so is that why all of these 81 early deaths? Is that why all this myocarditis is suddenly prevalent? Is that why all of this cancer is suddenly prevalent? Is that why Andrew Bridgen is trying his best to talk about what is going on? So what do we know? We know that in the beginning that we dumbass tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists, there's another one that was true then. So all these people who were like, you're going to kill your gran, you need to have, you anti-vaxxer, you need to take the jibber jabber, you, and all these idiots on social media, I've had the jibber jabber. And I was looking at them thinking, you're going to end up dead. Have you done your research? Now we know that the jibber jabber has caused blood clots and other harmful effects. And some of us, me, refused it from the get-go because I worked on my gut biome and my gut biome saw me through. I caught it. But now we have people literally dropping like flies. Have you noticed in the press? They're saying, oh, so-and-so, some musician or some VIP or some celebrity has just suddenly passed away. This is not an easy conversation to have as a collective. Me, you, our communities, our families. This is not an easy conversation to have. I've had arguments with friends and they've unfriended me on social media and off they've gone. But if they ever watch this and they ever look at what's going on, because now there were 4 jabs, there were 4 main vaccines introduced to the Western world as being safe and effective at preventing the Charlie 19. 2 of them have been pulled already. So there was demonization and abuse online. Look, I'm not judging you, and I'm not suggesting that if you did take the jibber jabber that you are wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we need to have a very adult conversation around what Big Pharma did to us and what they are liable for. And the politicians, Matt Hancock, who were there telling us what we should do. And what we did was we tried to do the right thing. And these clowns are now saying, oh, it's got nothing to do with us. No, it's got nothing to do with me. We tried our best. But there's too much demonization and abuse at the beginning. And yet all the scientists, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the experts, all the politicians, the mainstream media's bobbleheads and the Karens on Facebook didn't know what you and I knew. They're idiots. Look at all these corrupt doctors who would have, and I'm not saying any names, who stood up and go, you need to take the jibber jabber because, your grandmother or your granddad could die of this and you could be carrying the Charlie 19 into their house and kill them. Turns out it was actually the jibber jabber that's been pulled because it's unsafe. And there was Rich Boy in the Houses of Parliament. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes when I was sitting up in the public gallery. And somebody, it might have been Andrew Bridgen, I'm not sure, but somebody said something and he went, no. They're safe and effective. We were told 95%. Now, 2 of those 4 vaccines have now been removed from the market for safety reasons and issues, including death. So who was crazy? Was it the people trusting the last 2 remaining jibber jabbers, or, as we were labelled, the anti-vaxxers? Now, I wish that there had been, look, some of the doctors in America were saying, hang on, we're seeing things here. This is not great. I've had former colleagues die and their death being attributed straight to the jibber jabber by the coroner. And yet there are a lot of people that have taken a lot of money, a lot of backhanders, to either keep their mouth shut or to say things a certain way. Now, the reason why I said at the beginning of this whole piece was books, books, books. Do not trust what AI will tell us. Do not trust what the mainstream media are going to tell you and me. Do not trust anything that is electronic, because they will alter the narrative, they will alter the detail, they will alter the content. So that's why I said this at the beginning of this piece. So I would, if I was you, and I always put it on your radar, prepare yourself for officials and talking heads attempting to revise history. Do not, under any circumstance, let them. And remember, all of these celebrities and sports people, and I feel sorry, you know, some of these footballers. There was former Spurs star who's got a defibrillator, put a defibrillator in his house. The very wealthy football stars are very scared because they were forced to take it. The sports stars, this could wipe out whole sports within 5 years. Gareth Bale, thank you. Who was that? Thank you, Gareth. Gareth Bale had a defibrillator installed in his house just so that he could get, if anything does happen, and I wish him well and a long life, but if anything happens to him or his family, they have the defibrillator that will give them enough time to get them into hospital to be treated. Yeah, Christian Eriksen, who literally, I mean, it was so shocking that in the Euros, Christian Eriksen just literally went over. And the whole world was watching it thinking, whoa! But thankfully, Christian was treated effectively. He's got pacemakers fitted and he's still a professional sports star doing the job that he loves. But there's so many people in the crowds at football matches. We need to make sure that we have the corroborative evidence. And then they're not giving us any of the data that seemingly they have. But remember Piers Morgan? He was the one that was telling you, get it, get it, get it. If you don't, that was the narrative. If you don't, you're an idiot. Well, Piers, mate, I didn't. But I did other things to work on my gut biome to make sure that I had a fair chance of fighting it. I mean, that you in America, you know, whether you are left or right, or you align with any political party in America, there's only 2 of them. But there was Trump saying, take hydroxychloroquine, which has been proven now, 4 years down the line, to have been effective. And there's the horse tranquilizer, ivermectin. You've got some social media stars saying, I took ivermectin. But the big pharma can't take profit out of ivermectin, or to a certain extent, hydroxychloroquine. And Trump was trying to tell you at the time. So now the left, who don't want him in power again because they want to keep washing and laundering money in Ukraine and Israel through the arms and armament sales, they don't want Trump in there because he's going to stop the game. He's going to stop them playing around and going into the house in America with like a couple of million and then coming out with 40, 50, 60 million in their bank accounts. It's corrupt. But you can see the the narrative is already having the groundwork laid for this. But now is our time to double down. This is not for the weak. This is not, we need to be absolutely sure of what we say and how we say it, because they've tried to fool us. Fool us once, shame on me. Sorry, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And then you've got this evil big Bill Gates who's saying, oh yeah, we'll have another pandemic then. See how that goes, Bill. Yeah, you'll eat crickets. Klaus Schwab, you'll eat crickets. You'll own nothing and be happy. It's all being ramped up. Now is our time to double down. And if you look at what is happening in Canada, and if you look at what's happening in, or has happened in New Zealand, if you look at Fauci and Gates and Rich Boy, safe and effective, my hairy backside, he's gone. That idiot has gone. He's literally killed the Conservative Party. They're never going to get back into power. They're done. They're finished. Because Rich Boy's got the power and deciding that he's president of the United Kingdom and everybody's going to do what he decides. And so long as he makes a few billion for Infosys, obviously, and his misses. 95% effective against Charlie 19. My hairy backside. So that's why, if you're a first timer tonight, please revisit some of these lives. I don't necessarily put some of this information out as videos, because that would put us on a particular radar that I don't want us to be on. But this little community that we have on a Wednesday and a Sunday at 8 p.m, this is where the gold is. This is where the truth is. And this is where we cut through the fog of war. And if you look back at the last 4 years, yes, it would be very easy for us to point and accuse and judge. But that's not who we are on this channel. We are the critical thinkers. We get this game. And we know the rules. And we don't allow us to lose. But there's families that have lost children and parents and brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and grandparents. It's evil. And you can complete the circle and look at King Charles III and how he fraternizes with Klaus Schwab. What's that all about? Go and see the Doom Goblin in Davos. What's that all about? We have to be vigilant. Vigilance. Stuart says, thanks for talking about this subject, Adrian. I'm getting a lot of rage out. I regret giving in to them. I completely understand, Stuart. And as I say, this channel's not for judging. This channel's not for pointing fingers, j'accuse. What I hope for this channel is that we have critical thinkers here who are looking for understanding. Dr. John Campbell, I loved his videos during lockdown. Loved them. Because there were no nonsense, they cut straight through. He had all of the experience where he could talk about this and say, well, this is happening, this is the reportage, this is the details that's coming out, and I don't think this is correct. I think we should be looking at this or that. And he was wonderful during lockdown. He gave a lot of people comfort because we were staring evil right in the face. Now, I get that some people got some kind of comfort by standing on the doorstep on a Thursday night and clapping for the NHS. But the NHS, can you imagine being in that quandary, being in that dichotomy where you're being told by the government, you must have it. You, to do your job, treat other people, need to have it. And I've spoken to pathologists who were very nervous in talking to me as a human being and as an adult. And I just said to them, have things changed? And they knew that I was going to dig deeper. They knew what I was after. And they just said, look, we see things. We see things. And didn't want to go any further than that. Because can you imagine studying for, 8 to 10 years? and then getting into medicine at quite a high level and doing this and doing that and being very well paid. You don't want to lose your career. But what they were doing was they were threatening doctors and nurses and medical professionals by saying, you either take it or you lose your job. And if you speak out, you'll lose your job. Now that we're 4 years down the line, why don't we have that information online? There's X. X is not afraid. I mean, you've got, like Billboard Chris, you've got Australia trying to squash him and close him down. And he just wanted the drugs that they were giving kids to be stopped. And we stopped in this country. It was the Cass report. And things have changed, thankfully, in this country. We're seeing a bit more common sense. But for all these idiots, for all these VIPs and all these celebrities who were, you need to take it. You need to take it. And some people were like, here, sling your up, bonny lad. Well, I'm not going to take that. And now these celebrities who know what they said, know why they said it, maybe, but now there are repercussions. Now, I don't know whether they were naive. I don't know whether they were told one thing erroneously, egregiously, and they just went with what they were being told. But can you remember the plumbing service? And I won't name it. Can you remember the plumbing service that turned round and said, every one of my plumbers will take the jab? Ooh. He's legged it. He sold the company. And all these people were being told, you can't work, you can't travel, you can't do anything unless you take the jibber jabber. And I will say to you, and I will be very honest with you, the new Mrs. Allen caught Charlie 19 first. And I was really scared because there was an effect and she came out in a rash. And I was really scared because I didn't know what Charlie 19 was. I didn't know how deep it would go, what the effects would be, what the long-term effects would be. And I looked at someone that I loved and love dearly. And I was really scared. I'd go fight any man. I'm afraid of no man. I'll go fight 10 of them at the same time. But I couldn't fight this. And thankfully, my symptoms were different. And thankfully, the new Mrs. Allen made a full recovery because we took other steps to make sure that we were healthy in different ways. But I believe very firmly that everyone was simply trying to do their best in an extraordinary circumstance, and nobody had the answer. No one. We were all trying to scrat around for information where we could try and make our own decision up. But the pressure, all these idiots, I've had the jibber jabber here. Fuck off! And I'm getting rid of them all. They're fucking idiots. And am I angry? Oh, you bet your sweet baby. Am I angry at the celebrities that says, you need to take it? Oh, I'm not letting this one ride. Ever. I know how the people that I love, I know how ill they got, but we got through it. And it was scary. And these people, these grifters that are celebrities who were just doing it for the greenbacks. And do you know how the government controlled the mainstream media? Advertising. They kept pumping advertising into the newspapers, so the newspapers kept taking the narrative because it was making them money. And you know, the Sun newspaper loses about £50 million a year. Losers. So if you're a government and you've got trillions at your disposal and you start pumping a whole load of new advertising saying you need to take the jibber jabber, you can have a free burger, you can have a free kebab, you can have this if you take the jibber jabber. The newspapers took the money. They took the bribe. It's very clever. And every time I see Matt Hancock on the TV, I want to punch my TV's lights out. I want to trash it. I want to chuck it out the window. And that's why I brought this subject up, because we need to be vigilant. DC says there's footage of Hancock walking down Downing Street, going into number 10, then whipping his mask off. Caring, understanding 90s type. Evil. And, you know, I'm not suggesting that there's anarchy or rebellion on the streets. We just need to watch these idiots carefully. And don't let this happen again. Because I keep saying to you, the Manning Street preachers, if you tolerate this, your children will be next. They know that. That's what they're doing. And Bill Gates, why can't they just die off? Klaus Schwab, why can't he just, you know, go, look, Klaus Schmidt, just off you go. Get your wings on, get your halo, start playing your harp. Off you go. Leave us alone. We're not harming anyone. We're not doing anything. But you think we're cash cows. You think that we are your servants. No, we're not. We're not that stupid. Annie, what's in the body of the Kirk this evening? Unforgivable scaremongering. I agree, Annie. I agree. But as I say at the beginning, everybody was just trying to do the right thing. Everybody was trying to, look, this is what they're saying. This is what could happen. And it was sort of like, it was doom mongering. We're all going to die. And remember how they set it up on TV? Oh, here's the latest slide. And I'm aware of people being diagnosed and their death being diagnosed as Charlie 19 when it was a bloody heart attack. It had nothing to do with Charlie 19. But they were massaging the figures. I've told you this before. Tony Blair and his cohorts, they would count the male heads coming into this country who were economic migrants. But to bolster them, they'd count the wife's head and the children's head. So one guy coming in, 4 heads going out. That's how they play the system, the governments. Nicholas says, we'll send you an email. I have a great tale of my late mum bollocking William in a lift with his purse. Oh, close protection. Yeah, please, Nicholas, I look forward to that. Thank you. The old Bovril, true. Fred Barker, Boris was doing herd immunity at first. He did, and it turns out that he was right. And Boris, for all his clownship, he said, yeah, the or what do you call it? The bins and the recycling. Yeah, he said, don't work. And then literally the Tory machine had to come out and go, no, he didn't mean that. No, he didn't mean that. And in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, herd immunity. That'll get us through. Herd immunity. And they were like, no, everybody's got to have the jibber jabber. Everybody's got to take it. And some of us were like, I think there's a rabbit away here. I mean, we couldn't get any bog roll, but we knew there was a rabbit away. Terry Woodford says, bloke crashed a motorcycle, died, was put down to Charlie 19, not the impact, with the road and wall. They were at it. And they were all making serious amounts of backhanders. Because it was costing governments billions. I mean, look at Michelle Mone. That story's disappeared, hasn't it? Michelle Mone and the millions. I wonder why. Maybe we were getting too close. Maybe we were over the target, as someone once said. So I think we'll leave tonight at that. I think on your behalf, I'm more than happy to keep an eye on it. I'm more than happy to do the research, and I'm more than happy to bring that research here on a Sunday and a Wednesday. But this game isn't over yet. There's no winners, but lots of losers. Game's not over. And remember, I'm going to be posting more regularly to X. So if you are on X, or Twitter as it was formerly known as, then it's simple, at Adrian Allen. I've had that for donkey's years. And please, if you can, smash the likes before you go, just to help the channel. Make sure that you're subscribed for more videos coming. And most of all, thank you for your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for being in the body of the Kirk for the live this evening. Hope you've enjoyed it. No need to go to the confessional. I think you've done plenty of that in the comments this evening. And be well, go safe. And whatever you do, don't forget the Battenberg.